So today we're going to be making Spam musubi. It's a local Hawaii treat. It's super easy to make for students and families. Now, have you ever had Spam before?
I have had Spam before. We love Spam in the Martin household. One of our favorite things to do is we get the Kraft mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Cook that. And then we get a can of Spam. We cube it up, fry it till it gets nice and crispy, and mix it in with the mac and cheese. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, try that. We're going to have to make that next time. But today, we're making Spam musubi. So what you need, the most important part, is this can of Spam, which you can buy at most places. You'll need a rice that you can make, and some people make sushi rice. Some people make Spam basic, but I like to add some sauces. So you can add soy sauce, and this is the special trick, the furikake. So if you don't like salty stuff, then don't add this. It's a little salt, but it's really good. So you basically cut up the Spam. I like pretty thick Spam. So it depends if you wanted 6. It's probably about 6 to 8 in the can of Spam. You then fry it up. And then when it's all done fried to how you want it, I like mine well done. The last 30 seconds, turn it off. And you can put teriyaki sauce for about 30 seconds to glaze it.
Gotcha.
Just glaze it. And then, this is the best part. I'm going to show you how to do it, and you're going to do it.
Okay.
All right, here goes.
Okay, I've got my nori.
And then you put this block, a Spam maker block, as I like to call it.
Okay, then I put a little rice in. Not too much.
I don't like a lot of rice, but some people like a lot of rice.
Okay.
Push it down.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta do that, audience.
I'm gonna get my Spam.
Yeah.
Spam in the can.
Yep.
Boom.
And maybe this one don't put the little secrets.
I might put the
Oh, yeah, okay. Put the secret sauce.
It's the secret sauce. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going for the second layer.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I
Hold it down.
smash.
Yeah. Looks good. Okay, and then you just wrap it like a gift.
All right, there we go. My first musubi.
Yes!
What do you say?
All right.
Pretty cool, huh? Cheers.
Cheers.
I like it.
All right. So if you want more info on the recipe for Spam musubi or other things that we've done in terms of food, please go to our blog, Go to Eats with the Chancellor.
And Dr. G.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. I've been exercising here at the Summers Rec Center and have really come to appreciate the 200 student workers that make things work here. So I decided to come over here, put on my red polo, and get to work. Okay.
We just welcome people, give them good vibes, and we swipe them in.
Okay. Hey, all right, here we go. Face side down. Boom. Well, have a good workout.
I just put 2 and 2 together.
Thank you.
Hello. New on the job?
New on the job, still being trained. Face side. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Don't skip leg day.
All right, good luck.
Boom. Wow. Getting your workout in.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Terry from Martin, what's up?
Tori, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. See you tomorrow, 8:30, right?
Healthy excellence, man.
Let's get after it.
All right, Glenn, we got a little lull. What is your favorite part of your job here at Summers Rec?
Meeting people. I think I just get to meet people from all parts of the campus, student athletes, people from different schools, undergrads. It's just a great time to be here.
First day?
It's my first hour. Boom. It's been a great first day on the job. I know I'm going to be back. Totally feel like a member of the team, but I'm going to give things back to Glenn. He's the expert. He knows how to hold this place down for the rest of the day.
Now you can tell people what administrators in higher education do every day of our lives. Good morning, families. We still have some folks coming in, so I'm going to just wait for about 1 minute to make sure they're all comfy. And I think we have seats up on top. I know we do, so yes, great. And I think we can now open up the seats in front. If folks, we have lots of seats in front, just take any seat.
All right. Perfect. Good morning, families. Good morning. Oh, come on, you can do, we gave coffee outside. That's a new thing. That's right. That's right. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Ana Gonzalez, or Dr. G, your Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. And you're going to hear later on more about what we do in Student Affairs and some of our values and our work. But for now, I was asked to make an announcement that if there's any member of the class of 2029 who is still in this room, you actually have to quietly leave because you are supposed to be at a mandatory residential college meeting. And so families, if you want to text your students, you're allowed to do so to make sure they're awake and at that meeting. That's fine. It's okay, I'm one of you, I know how that goes. So in our session today, we will share information about how we will work together and how we partner with families. This panel is called Parents and Families as Partners, because we do view you as our partners. I want to also do some housekeeping things. There later on will be a QR code that will show you, and you can put in your questions that you have of us, and we will do our best to answer them as they are asked. And I have an iPad here that just pops up, and we will ask the questions to our panel of experts. For those of you watching us remotely or via Zoom, hello. I hope you've had a fantastic move-in and will gain a lot of information from our new family orientation. So a little warm-up. I just want to know who's in the room as we are filling this place in. Who is from the East Coast? Do a whoop whoop or raise a hand. Or all right, East Coast. How about the West Coast? All right, the Southern U.S., all right. Okay, this might be a big group, the Midwest. All right, how about our families from Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Guam? Yay! Our folks who probably traveled the furthest, our international families. Yay! Welcome. All righty. Well, just want to make sure that you are all here wide awake. I'm actually going to ask someone to speak to our families and share a few words about messaging and how we relate to our families. And so right now, in a few minutes, I'm going to ask our Chancellor, Andrew D. Martin, to come on up. We show that video because we show that as a chancellor, while other places have great presidents and chancellors, what I feel makes us special is that our own chancellor actually takes the time to engage with our students. While not an everyday thing, the chancellor can be seen having lunch with students where they eat, right? At whether it's the Bears Den or whether it's the Duck. He can actually be seen going to the rec center. He does work out there, and as you can see, even works there from time to time. We also have a food blog, and he really wants to get to know students, who they are, where they're from, and why they came to WashU. And so of all the things that he has done great for this wonderful institution, I feel very proud that under his leadership, for the first time in our history, WashU was named by Princeton Review as having the best quality of life for students, so we're number one in that category. So with that, I'd love to invite Andrew D. Martin, our Chancellor, to please come up and say a few words.
Well, thank you, Dr. G, for that kind introduction. And I just want to thank the outstanding WashU staff, many of whom are here today, who've been eagerly preparing for this momentous week. Let's give them all a round of applause for their incredible work this week. As you'll hear on the panel shortly, we have the best group of student affairs leaders in the country. and what we're able to provide our students is in no small part because of their dedication. So class of 2029, parents and families, welcome to WashU. We are so excited to meet your students, one of the most diverse and accomplished first-year classes in our university's history. How lucky we are to learn from such a wide array of people with rich experience and valuable perspectives to share. I know you must be very proud and excited for your student, not only that they made it here, but they are now part of a community of peers who will challenge them, commiserate with them, love them, and walk alongside them during this special time in their lives. In the next 4 years, they will build bonds that will enrich the remainder of their lives. Families, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today. First, I want to thank you for your manual labor moving your students into their new homes. If you survived move-in day in this St. Louis weather, you're ready for the next Herculean task. I'm not talking about saying your final goodbyes. I mean, you're ready to brave the world's worst target parking lot for those last-minute essentials. Trust me, if you can survive that parking lot, you can handle the next 4 years without any difficulty. Thank you, too, for raising this intelligent, thoughtful, inquisitive, resourceful, creative bunch of young people. We are really, really impressed. I know that each of you has sacrificed much to reach this milestone. Maybe you traded vacations to afford music lessons or technology clubs or club sports. Maybe you held them on your lap and read Goodnight Moon what felt like 1,000 times. And your child is here today to write their own story. The tutors, the late-night study snacks, the helping hands, the tough love, it all meant something. It meant that today, you and your child are joining this WashU family, a family which will strive to nurture your child intellectually, professionally, and as a responsible citizen of a global society working toward making the world a better place. We honor your role in raising your student, and we thank you for entrusting their education to us here at WashU. And speaking of trust, I want to encourage you to think about how you will demonstrate your trust in the years ahead. My wife Stephanie and I have a daughter in the 11th grade, and looking ahead to when I'll sit in your seat in just 2 years, it's hard to imagine that she'll be ready to handle some of the basics of her own life. Will she remember to eat her veggies, go to bed when she's tired, or know how to separate her whites from colors on laundry day if we aren't there to remind her? Probably not. But when she goes to college, it will be time for us to let her learn on her own. Because honestly, a basket full of shrunken sweaters and newly pink socks goes a long way to show our students that we trust them. It may sound silly, but what your student really wants from you right now is not your services as a hands-on parent, but to know that you will trust them to find their way and to recover from the mistakes without your help. Maybe that can be your code word, moms and dads. When you're tempted to step in too soon, take a deep breath and ask each other whether your child is having a true problem or simply a pink sock moment. That said, they also need to know you're still on the other end of the line when they call. Not to fix things, maybe not to even offer advice, but to listen, to offer words of support and encouragement, to keep them connected to the traditions of home in some capacity. When they know they are still supported from afar, they will develop the confidence to explore their unique individual passions and interests. And that's certainly what they'll do, and it's an important part of their time here. I'll tell you today that some of you are eventually going to get the call. No, not about laundry. The call I'm talking about is when your pre-med science whiz calls home to ponder a switch to art history, or when your sensitive poet calls to announce a switch to computer science. Families take these calls as good news. Your student will be poised for a life of success and service if they are in love with what they are learning. Let them have this time of exploration and be amazed by how they manage to fit all of the pieces together to make a meaningful life. In conclusion, I hope the days ahead go smoothly and that you enjoy these memorable moments. We are always happy to take your calls and emails if you ever need to talk, because you too are part of the WashU family. Thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you, Chancellor Martin. By the way, we still have seats in the middle. If you could raise your hand, if you have empty seats to your right, I think that would be great. If you see that people's hands are raised, just feel free to come on down and take a seat. Thank you, Chancellor Martin, for your wise words. I know that many of our parents will think about them often, or at least when they're doing their laundry. In a few minutes, I'm going to be asking my colleagues, and they'll be introducing yourselves in terms of what they do and the areas that they oversee, and then we will be asking them questions. But before then, I want to tell you a little bit about what we do in student affairs. And so with that, I'd like to ask my colleague Chelsea to play a short video that we made, and we did not give any of these students the answers to the question, why college? Is college worth it?
So for me, I really chose to go to college to expand my horizon both academically and socially and build a strong network of people that will be there to support me in the future.
Coming to college and being in a more diverse environment has really allowed me to grow as a student, but also as a person.
You really get an opportunity to meet a lot of like-minded people, but also people who have diverse perspectives.
I mean, my first day, I was met with people with different perspectives. I remember talking about politics with somebody. We might not have agreed, but we came to a common ground because we both understood the same central message. I think experiences like those really ground you.
You really get to meet a lot of new people with very distinct beliefs, backgrounds. And I think that's helped me and made me grow as a person.
My choice to go to college not only gives me a degree, it helps me to broaden my view.
Joining a variety of clubs and organizations on campus has allowed me to build a sense of community and belonging here at college.
I know that I'm going to get out of my college experience leadership skills, a community, a network, and the skills necessary to be successful in my career.
My career path has definitely been heavily affected by those connections that I've been able to foster in college.
I've had multiple opportunities to engage in leadership inside and outside of the classroom.
Coming to college has impacted me in numerous ways, and I've never regretted the decision.
I've been able to surround myself with so many different experiences.
So college is worth it?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's worth it.
Is college worth it? Yes.
So when we talk about the return on investment for college, we tend to focus on what can be most easily and consistently measured: earnings, premiums, employment rates, and wage growth. These are vital indicators of economic mobility, and they remain an essential part of why a degree matters. That is why my parents thought I should go to college. Yet, if we stop there, we overlook the additional benefits of a college experience. The true impact of a college degree cannot be captured solely in dollars and cents. It also lies in the habits and values that our graduates carry into their lives: their capacity for critical thinking and civic responsibility, their ability to navigate complexity and difference, and their sense of purpose and belonging. Student affairs professionals, through advising, coaching, mentoring, health and well-being support, co-curricular learning, and so much more, are the architects of the student experience beyond the classroom. We support students outside of the classroom and enable their success within it. Our work prepares students not only to earn a living, but to live with purpose, connection, and resilience. Our work prepares them for success. It is through the work of our profession, our team, that institutions like WashU nurture the full potentials of learners as individuals, workers, and citizens. In short, Student Affairs is the infrastructure that ensures students not only are enrolled, but equipped to thrive academically, socially, and personally. It is in this space that higher education becomes a lived experience, where students are supported holistically and prepared to succeed in post-secondary education and beyond. The practices that we conduct improve measurable outcomes like retention, graduation, and job placement, student success outcomes for all, while also cultivating the deeper human connections and capacities that democratic societies and healthy economies require. Student affairs practice, when done with excellence, is essential to strengthening both value and worth. It is through our work, the co-curricular programs, leadership opportunities, well-being initiatives, and community building work that campuses cultivate the environments and experiences that make higher education more than just a transaction. It is more than just a degree. When student affairs practice is strong, students graduate not just with the credential, but with the resilience and adaptability that employers, communities, and democracies can rely on. And now, I would like to invite my colleagues to introduce themselves because they are truly the partners in this work. They lead various departments to ensure that your students will succeed at WashU. I would like to invite Dr. Mark Kamimura Jimenez to first introduce himself and say what he does, and we'll go around through Rob and back on this side with Kirk and Cheryl.
I thought they were going to start at the end and then start with me. All right. Well, my name is Mark Kamimura Jimenez, and I just want to start off by saying I'm from Southern California, so those of you from the West Coast and from SoCal, welcome. I oversee two major areas, the Center for Diversity and Inclusion, which has 4 offices within it, the Office of Religious, Spiritual, and Ethical Life, the Cross-Cultural Connections Office, our Office of International Student Engagement, and our Spectrum Office that oversees our LGBTQIA+ student experiences. I also have the Dialogue Across Difference program, which I hope to get to talk to you about in a little bit. I also have the Taylor Family Center for Student Success, which has 4 different scholar programs that serve our first-gen and limited income students, and then also our newest office of financial well-being.
Thanks, Mark. I'm Anthony Asma. I oversee athletics and recreation, and as you saw in the video, we had this little undercover boss thing happening with the chancellor, so I'm happy that that didn't go sideways, and I'm still gainfully employed.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Norma Guerra Geyer, and I serve as the Associate Vice Chancellor for Career Development and Education. So our office oversees all things career here at WashU, including internships and all the amazing experiences that your students will have while they are here.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rob Wild. I also just want to say at the outset here, I'm a new WashU dad. Well, I'm not a new WashU dad, but I have a son who moved in yesterday. I played dad and dean of students yesterday, and I do want to thank you. I do want to give a huge thank you to my colleague Cheryl Mauricio for a great move-in. We had such a wonderful experience yesterday moving our second student into WashU, so thank you. So at students, I do work with the Office of Student Conduct, which when I was meeting some of you yesterday, that caused you to get very quiet and walk away. knowing that you'll never speak to me again, hopefully. But I do some other things here. I work with our Office of Campus Life, which includes sorority and fraternity life, some of our community service engaged programs, our 400 plus student groups, student government. I work with the Bauer Leaders Academy, which is a great initiative started by Chancellor Andrew D. Martin to really help focus on honing the leadership skills of our students. I work with the Office of Scholar Programs. Some of you are Scholar Program parents and heard from me yesterday. That also includes military veteran services and the ROTC program. So thank you to those of you who have sons and daughters in our ROTC program serving our country. Thank you.
Good morning, parents and families. It's really fun to be able to see how many folks are packed in here. A full house is always a welcome event. My name is Kirk Dewar. I have the privilege and opportunity to serve as the Associate Vice Chancellor for Health and Well-Being, which means that all the student-facing health entities report to me, including our Health Center, Immunization Office, our Counseling Center, our Relationship and Sexual Violence Prevention, Health Promotion, Disability Resources, and an office we call WashU Cares, which is dedicated to helping our students that are in some sort of transition, physical ailment, other kinds of thing, and making sure that they get connected to the right resources. So happy to be able to assist you and your students with anything that might fall under that umbrella.
Thank you, Kirk. Good morning. This makes me so happy this morning. You all being here makes me know that my team did a good job preparing for the last year to welcome you to campus. It's nice to see you. Cheryl Mauricio, Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. I oversee the Office of Residential Life, Student Transitions and Engagement, and Conference Services. And so those are the offices that have been in touch with you and your children over the summer, and we're going to take care of them for this next week before school starts to make sure they're transitioned well into WashU. Nice to see you this morning.
All right, so if you, again, to encourage you, if you have any questions, you can go into QR code and you can write questions down. You don't have to say who you want the questions to be answered. My staff will pop them up accordingly and I will ask them. But in the meantime, we have just one prepared question for each of them that I did this morning, and so I'm just going to ask them. We will see how it goes. They're pretty good. All right, so Norma, I'm going to start with you. So how does the Center for Career Engagement help students who are undecided in both area of study as well as career path?
Thank you. Yeah, that's a question that we get a lot, not only from students, but mostly from parents, and I appreciate that. So at WashU, we have done something quite innovative, and I'm really excited to lead a team. We, in fact, have almost 70 team members who are here to help your students on their career thinking, is the way I like to look at it, because it is a process. Many students might say, I know exactly what I want to do, and maybe they do at this very moment, but it changes, and we are here to walk alongside them. So what we have done here at WashU is we have established career communities. Our career communities are industry-based, so a student might say, I have an interest in doing something in healthcare. For example, we have 8 different communities. We will provide them through these communities resources, both in person and virtually, to explore all the possibilities. These resources are not just things that they read or things that they process, but they're actually human beings who walk alongside us. We have many alumni, many employers, in fact, parents who say, I will help. I will talk to students and mentor them along the way. So we invite you to raise your hand if you're interested to help us with that process. I always say that a career center alone on a campus cannot do this work by itself. We need partners, and we have partners across campus who help us and partners across the globe. So through our career communities, they will engage in programs and in mentoring and all types of experiences that we will offer to them year-round to help them find their place and help them explore what is right for them so they can be amazing contributing citizens in our country.
Thank you, Norma. Next, I'm going to go with Kirk Dewar. Kirk, if my student is feeling unwell, who should they tell? Where should they go?
So, great question. And before I do that, as one of my roles in being in my health and well-being unit is to be able to look forward and to anticipate the unanticipated consequences of things that might happen. And so, with that, I offer a warning to the rest of my panel members because I saw the chancellor scanning the QR code. So I'm not sure who's getting that question, but one of us probably is. I just thought I'd note that. If your child is sick or struggling in some way, we have several different options that they can engage with us. We have a student health center down on the South 40, actually in the garden level of one of the residence halls, so it's easily accessible, especially for our first-year students. And if they're not feeling well, we'd encourage them to go onto the Student Health Center's web portal whenever they aren't feeling well and schedule an appointment. So much like your primary care provider or your pediatrician, we take appointments there and they can usually get in pretty quickly, but we do encourage them to go in and schedule an appointment just to make sure that they know when they're going to be able to get in. They could walk over, they might have to wait a little longer. We'd encourage them to use that appointment scheduling. But if it doesn't rise to that level, if they just want to talk to somebody saying that they're having a bad day, if they're struggling with something that's going on in class, or if they want to be able to talk to a nurse in the middle of the night. All of your students on the way out of the registration process in the DUC before they even moved in yesterday were encouraged to, it made it seem like it was mandatory, which we really like, to register with an app called Timely Care. And with that app, they can connect with a provider, a mental health provider or a medical provider 24/7. So any questions that they might have, they just need to pop in and be able to use that. But other than that, they can schedule with our mental health providers for an initial consultation or go in and see our medical providers for anything that they need.
Thank you. The next question is for Mark. Mark, and you saw a little bit in the video that students were talking about understanding difference and appreciating that. So if my child wants to meet people who are different from them, but I'm worried about this concept of but they are worried about cancel culture and the divisive environments that may exist, how do they go about meeting different people and understanding difference the way that folks did in this video?
So as you heard, I'm from Southern California, but that's not the only place I'm from. And if I had stopped there and only welcomed the people from Southern California, some other people would be like, man, that guy is like only cares about that one group, right? We come from many different places. I have gone to school in New York, gone to school in Michigan. If I had canceled the opposite teams, our rivals' colors, I wouldn't even be here. I went to Michigan, right? So no green, no red, and I had no red or green in my closet, and so I had to find what that identity felt like, right? Wearing red and green. And I think for us, as a parent, we think about how did you raise your child, right? Did I give them the values to embrace when they're gone from us? What are they going to do when they're on social media and they're in this new community? And I think about also the fact that when we embrace cancel culture, we also cancel the learning environments, right, or learning communities. And so this is a place in which students need to find ways to explore different perspectives. In our own families, we have siblings that you've raised, right, or I have a sibling that I grew up with, and we could be more different, have different perspectives on so many different things. And so while we may share some values, we also may have different perspectives of what that looks like. a long time ago, I did a small research study on social awareness and found that in the first year, the majority of what students learn or how their perspectives, the perspectives they hold, were really defined before they got to college. Now, after the first year, there's a lot of things they go off and become who they are. And so I share that a little bit with you to know that you've really created the class that we're bringing in and the things in which they're going to share with their peers over this first year. And then beyond that, they start building on the things they're going to learn from their classmates and the things they're going to learn from in the classroom and the experiences they're going to have in their internships or the struggles that they're going to experience as they figure out whether it's a pink sock moment or if it's something to be more concerned about. So we have a program that we developed here a few years ago called Dialogue Across Difference. And we shorten it up and call it DXD. And it's an opportunity for students to take a one-credit class and engage in a course that really develops skills around dialogue, how to talk to others, how to learn from others, how to understand the perspectives that others may be coming with that don't match up with their own. And so the class won't start until midway through the semester, so they have plenty of time to register for that. But I encourage you to encourage them, this is the partner part, to think about enrolling in that course. And there's a few different topics that they can choose from and that fit their interests. And so that is the essence of college, to explore the perspectives that we didn't grow up with or we didn't share or that are brought in from how to manage this humidity and how to manage the cold and when not to step on something that looks shiny on the ground in the wintertime because you might slip. So anyway.
Thank you, Mark. I also want to say that all first-year students are actually going to have a module of the Dialogue Across Differences as part of their orientation. It's something new that we've instilled because we so feel it's important for them, and more importantly, our students have asked for this. And so, yes, thank you. So this is popping up a lot. It's great. And we're going to ask our Dean of Students, Rob Wild, to answer this one. Lots of themes on this. How do students get involved? What kinds of clubs and organizations do we have? How do they make a friend?
Wow, how do they make a friend? I was good until you got to that. That's the parents' job? Okay.
Yes. It is Dean of Students' job. Go ahead.
If any of your students don't have a friend by the first week of classes, send them to me. Okay. In all seriousness, I want to tell you one important date. Your students still do listen to you, so I want you to remind them that on the Friday of the first week of classes, on Friday, August 29th, at 3 o'clock p.m. out on Mudd Field, right behind the Danforth University Center, we have one of the best events of the fall semester in what we call our Student Activity Fair. Over 400 of our student groups will be out there in a giant festival-like atmosphere, trying like crazy to recruit your students to join their groups. The sailing club will have a sailboat out there. The beekeeping club will be handing out honey. The rocketry club will hopefully not launch a rocket, but we'll have a rocket to show everybody. It really is fun. And what I would say is most students end up signing up for more groups than they end up joining, and that's okay. We want them to do that. Part of this first year is about exploring. And so, and I will say, I kind of came full circle on that, Dr. G. I think that being in a student group is also a good way to meet a friend and also meet someone maybe with both similar and different interests than you. So August 29th.
Thanks, Rob. I thought he was going to say I was getting nervous. The bees will be there, the bee club. I love the beekeeping club, by the way. They give the Chancellor and I free honey, so they're awesome. They're fully protected, don't worry. All right, Anthony, other than, of course, working at the rec center, what opportunities exist for students to be engaged in rec sports activities, like intramurals, club sports, etc.? Lots of engagement questions. I love all this. Anthony.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. And the beauty of the intramurals is not only that it's free, but it's at different levels as well as co-ed. And then we have numerous club sports. And we have about 40 club sports. So Outside of that, though, the thing that I would like to mention to everybody about the things that we do that's more than just weights, pool, and gym, cooking classes, which my wife wants me to sign up for. Jeez, I didn't think that would be that funny. Bear adventures, hiking, kayaking, and believe it or not, sometimes we pair some things up. So yoga and apple picking as part of our Bear Adventures. And then we have more than 50 Bear Fit classes that stretch anywhere from hot yoga to Pilates. So we try to make sure we can meet young people where they're at, create an environment that's welcoming and inclusive so they can find a community to be a part of, irregardless if they want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or look like me, a beat up, washed up former student athlete. So.
Thank you. I'm a member of that gym. I go twice a year. That's as much as I don't go as much as the chancellor. Cheryl, I know this may not happen, but just in case it does, and I've had a few questions live and in person already. What happens if there are roommate conflicts? How does that work? And also, how do students change rooms if they want to?
Thanks, Dr. G. We want them to call you, actually. No, I'm just playing. So it's not a matter of when if a roommate conflict happens, it's probably when. It could be a pink sock moment where, maybe someone's laundry is on the other side of the room, or someone's food is in the microwave in the common kitchen and they've been waiting for 10 minutes. Or really that it's more serious. That we welcome students of different identities and interests, and there might be times that a hard conversation will need to happen with each other. I do want to start by saying that the goal of WashU is that we really want your children or your student to leave WashU with more capabilities to have difficult conversations, as Mark mentioned. And so there's a number of ways that we facilitate that. Your student at this point should have met their resident advisor. They should have had a mandatory meeting either on Friday or Saturday and met with them to talk about community goals, community guidelines. We also have roommate agreements that your child will fill out with their roommates or suite mates. We allow them to do it on their own first, and if there needs to be a facilitation with the resident advisor, we allow them to do that. We also have intentional conversations. So our resident advisors, I should have started there, our peer advisors. They live with your residents, they live with your students on their floors, so they have access to them almost all the time if they needed them. The resident advisors will come in and help facilitate those conversations if needed. We also require resident advisors to have intentional conversations, several throughout the year, that are one-on-one with your students. It's an opportunity for them to ask for help or just talk through what they're going through. I would say that if there are reasons that your child needs to see a full-time staff member, we have full-time staff that live in the residence halls that they can meet with to talk through their issues. Most of the time, it's resolved. About 3 years ago, we implemented a program where if a student wanted to change rooms, they need to have a conversation with a staff member first. Interestingly, that reduced our number over 90% of students who actually wanted to change. So it can be resolved. So just know that we work with your students one-on-one if they have some concerns.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Cheryl. All right, we're going to go back to Norma. This popped up a few times. So how is the Center for Career Engagement preparing students for a changing employment environment, particularly thinking about the rise of AI?
Oh, yes, that is the topic of the day. So what I can tell you is that students and our recent graduates need to be prepared to understand how AI will impact our future. It is here. We cannot get around it. And it's our job in the Career Center to help students understand how it impacts their future. What we know is that a robot or AI, the thing we can't see, will not completely replace our workforce. It will change how we look at our future workforce. And the best way to navigate through that is for our students to understand it, to be able to engage with it, and to be able to lead our future into the best practices for how it will be used in our workforce. We do this in a lot of different ways. Some of it will involve our employers. Our employers are telling us, we are constantly talking with our employers and surveying them. We use some very reputable resources, national resources and studies to inform our work so that we know what is happening tomorrow. Because that's all we know right now, is what is happening tomorrow in the world of AI. And we know it's going to change in a week and definitely in a year. And so the first step is understanding that and equipping our students, not just in the classroom, which, by the way, our faculty are very aware, and they are talking to students about it and incorporating AI. But to talk with them outside of the classroom of the realities of what this means for our future. If I could just to amuse me, how many of you think you use AI on a daily basis already? Yeah, we're doing it, right? We're using it. But we need human beings to understand its best application, and that is the position we're taking with our students.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for that question. It is a continued growing question. I'm so excited to let you all know that this is an issue that even at WashU that we are grappling with in the classroom and addressing, and it's exciting. I see this as possibilities, so thank you. All right, next, Mark. How do we encourage students to get involved in different cultural organizations, even if they are not a part of that? What kind of events and activities does the CDI and other places have here? And are they open to everyone?
So at the CDI, we foster belonging for all. And so one of the great things about expanding that center into these 4 offices has been really opening up the door for our students to engage in learning, right? And understanding the different experiences that our students have come to campus with, and also for our students who have a very strong cultural connection, for them to share that with their peers. We do a number of different events in which we partner with our students, so you'll hear about different events that happen over the year during the different cultural and heritage months. But this fall, we're doing line dancing. And I was like, I had this conversation with my team, and I said, you know what? I really think this is important, because line dancing, although it might sound like not a really important thing, it connects so many of our communities. And even country music has really expanded into so many different spaces, or people made assumptions about what country music is. And so, like, one of my favorite Hawaiian bands, Maoli, they have like a whole country line of songs, and they integrate a little bit of Hawaiian and this and that. But when I'm playing the music, some folks don't even realize that they're actually Hawaiian. And so there's other aspects of, so that's just an example, but there are so many ways in which our students come to campus. And should I bring, I was in Houston, they were like, should I bring my boots? I was like, yes, you should. And even though I grew up in LA, I was wearing boots until I was in the 6th grade and wasn't cool anymore. But I mean, my family was also from Texas. And so I had there was these connected pieces of who we are that we should come and bring into this environment. We have students that are a part of these student groups where they're sharing their different cultural dances or their foods, but a lot of these groups have students who are from a bunch of different communities, and so they're learning. They may have grown up in a community where there are a lot of folks from this one particular culture, but they want to learn more about it. They didn't maybe grow up with those cultural experiences, or understand like the different foods or the different dances or the different holidays. And so we do a lot of educational experiences for our students throughout the year. Sometimes there'll be speakers, sometimes there'll be panels. And so, and a lot of times there are our own students sharing their experiences with their peers. So I encourage them to come out, and if they're interested, jump in.
Thank you, Mark. All right, I'm going to ask, and we're going to do a fast round because I'm getting lots of questions. So Kirk and Anthony, a parent actually had asked about healthy excellence. So some of you probably heard me say healthy excellence when I spoke and welcomed you all at Bear Days. What is our philosophy in terms of well-being writ large and overall? So I'd love Kirk to share something, and also Anthony to share that too.
No. Yeah, Anthony, go first. It's back. It's back now. So from Student Affairs, our perspective is we want to be able to have students as they come in, your students coming in just admitted, we want them to be able to graduate with better well-being than when they arrived. And considering the world-class education, part and parcel to that is a certain amount of stress. You don't get to learn things grow and develop without the stress. So that's part of what you're paying for. Thank you. But we want to be able to help them to develop skill sets and abilities that help them to overcome that. We want them to develop life practices and habits that help them to be able to move past some of those things so that they can take that with them into the world of work and represent themselves well. So that's kind of our goal, and we have a whole host of things that we do to try and make sure that that is part of what we do. And as I close, I just have to apologize to the people in the balcony. The stage lighting's refracting off our three bald heads up here, and just the glare is just unbearable up there.
Mike, sorry. There it is. Thanks.
Unfortunately, it works. The only thing I would add to that, and this follows up what Dr. G alluded to, I really think it's important to help young people understand a lifestyle that promotes not just physical health, because we're talking about well-being, but mental health, because mental health is health. And we want them to feel as though just as they prioritize classes, their career aspirations, we want them to prioritize healthy excellence at this institution, because we're trying to prepare today tomorrow's leaders. And we want them to step into spaces prepared. And I think it goes beyond the academic. It also goes to how they feel, what they see, how they interpret, and that dominant thought, and making sure that dominant thought is a positive one.
Thank you so much. All right, so Cheryl, I got a bunch of questions for you. This is going to be a speed round for you. There's like 3. Can you explain how the meal plan works? And there might be a session. What happens when the student can't get in their room? Let's say if there's a phone app, if they lost their phone, or their lost charges. I think those are the 2 big ones that came up. Meal plans, and also for Kirk, to share really quick, who do they call about insurance?
Okay, so I can go really fast. If a student is locked out, we have ways for them to get in. And I think I heard you say if they lost their phone, Dr. G.
Yes.
We have different locks on campus. If your student had downloaded the Homebase app on their phone and they either don't have a phone or they lose a phone, we would ask them to come to the Office of Residential Life, and we're able to issue them a temporary solution. So whether it's a card, a fob, but we do have an alternative way for them to get into their room. The second piece is a meal plan. So there are different meal plans that your child, I'm not one child, but many of you have different meal plans. You could use your meal plan for meal swipes, either in the Bears Den or in the Village House, but you could also use Bear Bucks at some of our different retail operations on campus. You're able to reload their Bear Bucks if your student comes to you and say, Mom, I had bubble tea for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the first 3 weeks. But hopefully we don't encourage that. Bubble tea is great. But I would say that there are meal swipes and Bear Bucks. And so I don't know how much more detail I would want to spend in this time, but I can answer questions after this is over if you have detailed questions.
That would be great. Thank you so much. All right, and insurance, Kurt.
So we facilitate a relationship between United Healthcare and the students by offering an insurance product that they facilitate for us. So if your student is interested in being able to use that right away, they can go online and they can activate that, download a card that gives them their insurance stuff. If you have insurance that qualifies, then you can opt out. So our plan is opting out, so they're already signed up for it. If they don't want it, they have until September to be able to opt out, and they go through and they fill out the form online that makes sure that your current insurance qualifies, and then they can be excused from having the university insurance. The point of having that is to make sure that they always get preventative care and can engage with our healthcare system so that it doesn't interfere with their academic progress.
Thank you. All right, Rob, there's a bunch of stuff here for you. Can you talk a little bit about campus safety and how safe the environment is, and how do we tell our students about safety here at WashU and in St. Louis? Can you please also talk about leadership initiatives? These are your big threes here that are coming up. And the final one is what happens when students are a little bit more introverted and passive? Are there ways for them to get engaged, or how does your staff reach out to them?
Wow. Okay. Let me try to get those. No, I got it. Okay. So safety, great question, something that is on all of our minds, I'm sure. First of all, I just want to say, if you did not see them yesterday on the South 40, the men and women of the Washington University Police Department are great partners with us in student affairs. They were handing out chicken and hot dogs yesterday and donuts. I've already had students ask if that happens every day. It does not. But what does happen every day is the great spirit of collaboration with our students and the visibility with our students. And I think that is our most important asset when it comes to campus safety. If you do want to see the detailed stats from our campus, you can go on the Washington University Police Department website, and they show all those. At the floor meetings that are happening this week and in residential life, the resident advisors do talk about safety information there. So that's the primary place where your students are getting direct information. Okay, leadership. The one thing I want to say about I mentioned the Bauer Leaders Academy before, and the tricky thing about WashU students is coming in, they're already amazing leaders, right? And so to get into a place like Washington University, you have to have those skills in high school. We believe leadership is a journey, and so while they may be great leaders, there's always a great chance to hone your leadership skills. The program I'll point out that you can find on the Bauer Leaders Academy website is something called leadership coaching, which we have these professional coaches that work both one-on-one and in groups with students to help talk with them about their leadership experiences. It's really a great program. We've been doing it for 2 years with much success, and just tell them about leadership coaching. All right, Cheryl, the last question was about
Students who are introverted.
Oh, introverted students. Oh, you're back to the friend thing again. Okay. So listen, all of our students are at different places, right? And I can just tell you, last night, sitting in my living room, my wife says to me, I think Henry might just be sitting in his room by himself. I'm so nervous. How many had that conversation last night? Okay, we know it. That's real. That's real. It is. This is stressful. You know, every student kind of comes to this place at their own pace, right? And so, you know, you see all the brochures and students, you know, playing Frisbee in the quad and, you know, doing their line dancing. And, you know, the reality is all of our students are coming to this with different expectations. The great thing about Washington University and making a friend and combating loneliness is that at Washington University, all of our students live on campus their first 2 years. And we have one of the great, as you heard at the beginning, one of the greatest residential experiences in our country here on our campus. And that allows our students to get, it may take them a while, some come to it a little slower, but it does allow our students to meet other people in their communities. The resident advisors and the Washington University Student Associates will work really hard to identify students who may not be connecting in the community, just kind of invite them to, what was it, yoga and apple picking? I'm trying to think of the different things that are happening. beehives, all those things that happen. And so keep an eye on it. Encourage your student. That anxiety that you have is real. We all have it. But just know that we have built a campus experience here that it is really hard to be in your room 24/7 when you're not at class and not have somebody saying, come over to the dining hall with us. So that's how I'd answer that.
Thank you. I'm going to answer the last question. There's so much more, and I promise that my colleagues and I up here on the stage will stay after there are announcements that will be made in a few minutes. But there was a question about the devastating tornadoes that happened this summer. And many of us were here. The chancellor was here. I was here. We were watching a softball game outside, right? And then we were at different places, and we were fortunate. We were safe. And there's so much that was damaged and so much loss in the city, in this great city, and in our, the county. And I just want to say that our campus continues to be prepared, continues to work, continues to try to think, how can we do better in terms of all emergencies, including that. Cheryl Mauricio and I actually talked about ensuring and making sure that the RAs and the RCDs are to live on full-time staff who are in the residence halls, to make sure that we continue to take seriously when we hear those sirens ring, and continue. And we work really hard and in partnership with our emergency services team and within the campus. And so we will continue to do that. For many of you, you come from places that have had these natural disasters. They are scary, they are real. Our students sometimes think they may be invincible to those until they've experienced it themselves. And so it is our job to make sure that they take these alerts and alarms very seriously. So thank you for asking that question. And so in close, I want to thank my colleagues up here and the Chancellor for spending time with you all. We love our jobs. Every single one of the individuals up here and the staff over there can get amazing job elsewhere, but this is the best job and the best place. And we truly love your students. Our mantra, and my mantra is, we love your students. Sometimes we may not like what they do, but we have to love them, and we believe in them. It doesn't mean, and now as a bonus parent, I know this, that we say yes to everything that they want. But we will do what we can to ensure that they have what they need. And so as partners with us, I hope that you will understand that they may call you or email you and say, Dr. G said no. We cannot have a party on the first night of school at the swamp. They had one last night, but that's okay. They can't have that every day. But what they need, what we do provide, and what we do answer for, what we do answer when we answer yes, is a great deal more important. Finally, I always end, or I talk a little bit about my mom. When I first became an administrator in higher education, and I was a first-generation college student, my mom told me, I hope that you do not take away other people's children the way your school took you away from us. She's a bit of a dramatic one, that one. What's that? I was like, really? Congratulations would have been fine, Mom, and maybe a new purse. But anyway, we promise we will not take away your children from you. You get to have them back. But in the meantime, we will partner with you, we will work with you, and more importantly, we encourage you to have your students work with us, with the individuals here, and with the folks who work with them. So thank you so much for being here, for the honor of being a part of our family. Welcome to WashU.